Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. You know, of late I've been getting some questions about training, being a trainer, and all this. So I figure I'll go ahead and make a little video. Where do I start? The first thing that you have got to make peace with and come to understand is that is your truck. That's your ship. And you're the captain of your ship. You have to take charge and be in control, because you're the responsible party, not that student, trainee. Whatever they do, it falls back on you. Just like with any company that, well, such as trucking, if you get drunk and you're driving your truck and you get in a wreck, you're boy, I can't talk tonight. You're the face of the company. So yes, you'll be held responsible for your part. Hopefully your ass will go to jail. But so is the company. So when you have a trainer out here, it goes even a little bit farther to being your fault. Because at least with the company, you're supposedly a trained professional. That student, they're not. You're in the process of training. So you have to take control of your ship. You've got to be the captain. Being you're going to take the fall for it, you might as well stand up, be the man. Or woman. Now along with that, one of the, or should I say, the two hardest students that you're going to get is one that is older than you. And the older they are, the more difficult they can be. They won't all be, but some will lean that way. And the other one is the student that has been a driver before. When that trade show company I worked for closed the doors, we all was well seasoned veterans. We had the experience big time. My buddy Chris, he had over 30 years. He had like 32 years under his belt. So when he started job shopping, we all thought that damn line's crooked. That's why I couldn't get straight there. I originally parked right there. And man, my shit was looking all kinds of crooked. And that drives me nuts. So I backed up over here into this one. But now I see that damn line is crooked. That one over there is straight. There's two empty holes there. That one over there is straight. That one over there is straight. The line in between them two empty ones is crooked as hell. Got a bow in the middle. No wonder. And then the Martin that's parked in this one, he's crooked. So no wonder I couldn't get straight. I knew I was tired, but I'm like, damn, really? And yes, I am one of them that parks square in my hole. I ain't one. If you see my truck parked crooked or at an angle and it ain't perfect in a square in a slot, you know I was a wore out individual. back to the training. We all knew that with our experience that we wouldn't have a problem getting a job. And there was plenty of companies that wanted us. Now Chris was a little more picky about what he was wanting to do. And he got talking to some of them. And E.R. England is the one that really ticked him off. Now here he is, got 32 years experience. He's 50 something, early 50s at the time. And they wanted to send him out with a kid. He has kids older than that kid. That kid barely had over a year under his belt. And that was probably counting as CDL school. They wanted to send Chris out with this kid for a couple of weeks for this kid to retrain him. That didn't go over well. He never even hired on. He turned around and walked out. If it had have happened, Chris would have been a nightmare to that young pup. Just because of who Chris is. I mean, you think I'm point blank. He's worse than me. And he got a temper on him as bad as mine ever was. So, here you are. You got 2 or 3 years experience under your belt. And you get somebody that's got 5, 6, 10. Now their reasoning for wanting him to train is that he's been driving so long he has created some bad habits. That's true. We do. Ask any experienced driver if they're honest with you. Yeah, we get lazy. We start taking little shortcuts. We all know shortcuts is a road to disaster. You know, so yeah, we need to freshen up. But to send you out with a young pup is not the way to do it. So if you're a young pup and you're a trainer and you're going to get one of us old parts, now we're going to be sitting over there thinking, boy, I got more time backing up to the outhouse than you got in that seat going forward. So you have to start exerting rule 1, which was, it's your truck. You're the captain. So now you have to explain to them and get them to understand that it's your truck. If they don't like it, they need to find another truck. But while they're in your truck, you are training them for XYZ company. You might know how to drive a truck. You might be a better driver than I am. But the company has gave me the task of teaching you how XYZ does it. And that's all we need to do. Let's get you trained on XYZ's way of doing it. And then you can go along your merry way, get your own truck, and do it however the hell you want to do it. But while you're in my truck, we're going to do it XYZ's way. Because that's what they're paying me to teach you. So you have to, with some of them, you'll have to be a little firm. There's going to be some of them, it just don't work out, period. But you need to really push it and try to make it work out. Don't lose your temper. Don't go off yelling, cussing. Don't do it. You will lose somebody's attention that quick. Treat them how you expect to be treated. Do you want them going off on you, yelling and cussing and carrying on? Don't do it to them. Remain calm. The first one to get mad loses. So don't get mad. If they do something wrong, explain to them what they did wrong. And then explain to them how to do it right. Explain how XYZ wants it done. Period. Now, I suggest to drivers or trainers that you get you one of them little old cheap notebooks, regular size notebook. Have your clipboard for a good stationary something to write on. And as you're traveling through the day, and hopefully you have this student driving the majority of the time, when they mess up, don't just sit over there writing, but do make a note of how they messed up, but tell them that they messed up and lightly, briefly touch on how they need to do it next time. Don't go into no great details. Don't let it get drawn out. None of that, unless they're showing interest and engaging in a non-argumentative way. So you take notes. Okay, they made this corner too short. This right-hand turn too short. Then that's where you'll put your P or whatever for problem. And then you'll put your R whatever for results or resolve or whatever. Use your own coding. But you don't even put that. Just tell what happened. And then you tell them, explain to him how to swing wide, do a J-hook. Then at the end of the day, it's all parked up. Give them time to calm down, unwind. Don't wait till they just set the brakes and start hammering them with this stuff. Give them a few minutes. Let them have a cigarette, drink a Coke, whatever it takes for them to calm down for a few minutes and unwind. Then you open the book up to today. It should already be open. And you start going over what happened during the day. And every day that list should get shorter. Now, what I would suggest you to do, and it's going to depend upon the individual and how their backing skills are. One of my favorite things to do was stop in the middle of the day, because most truck stops were fairly empty. And I'd take my student to the very back, and we would work on backing up. I'd let them do a straight back. And give them praise if they did good. Tell them, hey, damn, that was good. You're getting a lot better. Have them do a 45. Have them do a blind side. Take you a couple of water bottles or soda bottles or whatever. You can buy little small orange cones if you want. But you take a water bottle and get you something to make a bright yellow in it, food dye or whatever. And set it back there on each of the lines. And tell them right out there where the hood would be, and tell them, say, that's marking the hood. You got back in between these two trucks. And that gives them a target. It does actually help them. It gives them more than trying to lose them see them lines. Because sometimes you'll lose them lines backing up. I still do to this day. I'll double and triple check myself. Teach them about getting out to look. Yes, there's really nothing there, but you're creating a habit for them. You're literally teaching them how they're going to drive in their future, hopefully. So when they start backing up, get you one of them little handheld radios. I had one and had a charger where I could keep it charged up. And I would get out and I'd talk to them over that handheld. The CB is on one channel. This is on the same channel, but not 19. And then I'd tell them to stop. Now get out and check. Get out and look. Do your goal. And I'd have them get out, walk and look and see what's up. You're creating future habits. Just like when we was talking about Rolling Stone, when he was doing his pre-trips and he was doing them so thorough. And I had several people say, man, you don't do a pre-trip that thorough all the time. And that's true, you don't. Very few drivers do half the pre-trip that he was doing. But I told him that it was actually good, that he was creating his habits for his future. And he needed to look stuff over. Maybe not quite as thorough as he was, but it ain't wrong to be that thorough. Well, it ain't wrong to be teaching these people these habits that they need to use. Get out and look. And like I said, have them do them 2 or 3 times, however long they want to do them or you deem necessary, but don't burn them out. You might have them do the backup a couple of times, do each one once or twice, then have them stop, have them go through the pre-trip. Now they've done past, I suppose, I'm assuming they've done past their CDL, and they actually have a CDL, and you're teaching them for that company the road. Well, now have them go over that pre-trip again and have them walk you through it. You walking right there with them, listening. You know, if you can, get hold of a manual for whatever state you're stationed out of. I gotta get this wallet out of my pocket, it's killing me. And they have a list in there that they expect you to do to pass your CDL. Well, that's what they should already know. So now have them going through it. You're creating habits. No, they're not going to do that thorough of a pre-trip every time when they have a truck. Probably not most times will they do it. However, you're teaching them how it should be done. Always be open to their questions. And they're going to ask some dumbass questions. You can't tell them that was a dumbass question. You're supposed to tell them that all questions are good. There's no such thing as a dumbass question. That's a lie, because there is. I've been asked some of them. And I've been asked some of them on YouTube. But you still answer them with a decent, civil answer. You damn sure need to know how your company wants them to know for them to pass their next test. Because normally after you've trained them, they're going to be tested again. Somebody above you or from the yard or what the company is going to take them out for a little drive test. Something else that I like to do that a lot of students didn't like it. I didn't care. You're here to learn. I'm teaching. Period. You're a student. I'm teacher. This is what we're going to do. Would just be driving, and I'd say, give me a verbal. And what that is giving me a verbal trip. As they're driving, they're telling me what they are looking for. It's something I learned out of the Smith safety course, the Smith safety driving deal. It's a good course. You need to take it if you can. And actually, as talkative as I am, I'm pretty damn good at it. I got complimented on it a couple of times from people that was testing me. You know, I tell them, if you're coming up on a bridge, all right, we got an overpass coming up. It's 13.8, we're good to clear. With all these cars parked alongside the road, I'm watching for a ball, a toy to come out and a kid chasing it. There's a kid over there on a bicycle on the sidewalk. I'm watching them, make sure that they ain't going to come up against me, come out and hit me, and you know, here's an oncoming car. I'm watching it. I'm watching that cross street up there, that intersection, watching to make sure nobody's going to run through it. I'm easing off fuel a little bit to ease through that, just to double check as I'm accelerating and getting going on. I'm watching the traffic behind me to see who's coming up, see if somebody's going to be stupid and try to come around me. Just have them verbally tell you what they're doing. And that will also help them to be checking all this stuff. You know, I got my eyes constantly moving. I'm looking at my gauges, I'm checking my mirrors, I'm watching these cars, I'm watching these kids. There's a bridge. railroad coming up, whatever. That will start giving you an understanding of how well they're really paying attention and what they deem as necessary and important for them to watch. You might have to correct them. They might not mention watching them cars way back yonder. You know, if they don't, you need to tell them. Now, you need to really be watching these mirrors better. You need to be doing that even if you ain't having them do a verbal and you watch them out of the corner of your eyes. If you're not seeing them checking everything, you need to tell them you need to be checking them mirrors more often. Something else you learn on the Smith driving course is about getting the big picture. The big picture is watching way out in front of you. You can know a lot about how you need to react by watching the traffic as far ahead of you as you can. Tonight, coming up through the construction on 35, yes, believe it or not, they have construction on 35. I'm watching way up there and I'm seeing them hit their brakes, and a whole bunch of them are hitting their brakes, and I start seeing that chain reaction start rolling back, and it's a mile or so up there. I'm letting off the throttle and starting to let it coast, and these other trucks are just hammering. Then they get up there and they have to slam on the brakes. I don't have to. I keep easing right on up through there. No, I'm not holding the traffic up real bad, but I leave me plenty of safe distance. You need to watch real close about their actual driving habits. One of them that you will probably have to talk to them a lot about is lane control. Too many times they start infringing on the other lanes. You need to correct them if they're doing that. Teach them about proper passing. Teach them about what lane to ride in. You know, don't send somebody out here to the rest of us that thinks riding in that middle lane is right, because it's not, it's wrong. Teach them if there's slower traffic, keep to the right. Basically, if you've been out here long enough that you're a trainer, although I shouldn't really say that because some companies want them to train after 6 months. Oh, you ain't had an accident, you ain't got a ticket, you made all your deliveries on time. You need to be a trainer. If you're one of them, you still need trained. I'm sorry, not being mean, just honest. But if you got a couple years under your belt, 2 or 3 years under your belt, you've been out here enough that you've done seen what truck drivers do that aggravate you. That is exactly what you're wanting to teach them not to do. Now you need to use other truck drivers for an example, whether it's on the road, a truck stop, or at a shipper receiver. If somebody's backing in, sit there with this student and explain what that driver's doing, whether it's right or wrong on what that guy's doing backing in. Explain to that student what they're doing and why it's right or wrong. Point out how they're cranking on their wheel to make the trailer do this, that, or the other. Sometimes it's easier to sit here and watch and you can understand it better than sitting in this seat and trying to do it here. One of the most common issues with backing up is oversteer. I do it myself to this day. Depends on how tired I am, on how bad I do it. Oversteering is a big problem backing up. Point that out to them if other drivers are doing it. You know, point it out to them if they're doing it. Point it out to them if you're doing it. You know, there's nothing wrong with using yourself as an example. That does a couple of things. It should do a couple of things. It should show them that even the teacher can mess up. And it should give them a little bit of respect for you acknowledging that you messed up. So, getting comments on YouTube. Probably people want to know if I'm doing live stream tonight. which I will here in a few minutes. That's about the gist of what I can tell you tonight. Now, I hope to see a lot of comments on this video. I'd like to see a few questions. I do not give long answers if I got to type it out. I'm just not that good at texting and all that. That being said, if you do put in questions, I'll do my best to give you a brief answer. Somebody else might also. If you have been an instructor, a trainer, or whatever, if you have some quality input for this, by all means, please share it. If you're not an instructor, you're a truck driver, and you know of something I missed out on, something your trainer did, whatever, by all means, please put it in the comments. Let's get this video going real good so that we've got a couple of trainers in our group. So let's get this going real good and help these trainers be some of the better trainers out there. Let's help them to give us some quality drivers out here, because that is the end goal of any trainer. It should be. There's too many of them in it for the money. We've got a couple in our group that is training just so that they can help to turn out some decent drivers. Let's help them do it. And you that are training and trying to give us good drivers, good job. Thank you. Keep your patience. They're going to wear your patience worse than your kids ever did. With that, folks, I'm going to get off here and do a live stream. I want to remind you, good Lord loves you. So do I. Thumbs up to the trainers. Y'all have a blessed evening now. Good night.